For over 15 years, Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated has been a beacon of light, guiding local families through difficult times. Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated proudly provides all families with compassionate choices for professional funeral care at reasonable prices. Get the answers you need 24 hours a day. No answering services, hidden costs, add-on fees, confusing fine print, or those scary-looking contracts. Remember, Gallup Funeral Services owns and operates the only crematory in Dare County, keeping our cremations affordable and convenient. Gallup Memorial Chapel in Bargo, North Carolina is now open and minutes from Moyock and Elizabeth City. From traditional church services and graveside burials to direct cremations and advanced planning, let Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated light the way for your family. Don't be pressured or confused by the other funeral homes. It's always your choice. Choose Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated. Call Courtney at 252-216-8030 to get a plan started today, and visit our new website at gallupfuneralservices.com.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
News team, assemble!
Joining us live, because if you want to know anything about the Outer Banks, Sam Walker's the dude to fill you in.
The sea was angry that day, my friends. Like an old man trying to send back soup in a deli.
Always appreciate talking to you.
Always good stuff with Sam Walker in the Outer Banks.
Now here's Les Nessman and the news.
And good morning, everyone. Welcome to OBX Today, live, presented by Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated, here on the OBX Today Facebook page and the Sam Walker OBX YouTube channel. Glad to have you with us on this Tuesday morning as we watch the ocean. Live shot from Rodanthe right now, up north in the Rodanthe, is right there as you get into Merlin Beach. And sea's still pretty messy out there. It's much more improved than it has been the last couple of days. It's about back where it was, say, Thursday maybe, Wednesday, when we had a little bit cleaner surf, but it's definitely cleaned up a lot. The wave heights have gone down, and we are going to see conditions dramatically improve as we get through this afternoon as that coastal storm has made its way offshore. It is still somewhat giving us some trouble, and it's going to continue to. Just something that big and that powerful that caused all these problems that we had. It's going to take a little bit longer for it to get back to calm conditions. But what we have seen is quite a bit of a change, even with the winds. The winds died out a lot sooner than we anticipated, which is good news, as it really didn't stay up as a hard blow yesterday, and that helped things out. We did not get as high a tide as anticipated with yesterday morning's high tide. It was definitely almost as high as Sunday morning's, which was the peak, pretty close to it, and that did cause more overwash problems in a variety of locations. So let's get to some of the images that we've got. We'll get to some of that in a second. We're trying to keep an eye on the NCDOT Twitter account because they have been posting updates as the morning goes, in the early morning. Haven't seen anything yet that may happen while we're here on the air. Of course, we'll share it at obxtoday.com if it happens after we get off the air this morning. But the overwash from the nor'easter that's slowly pulling away from the coast flooded Highway 12 on Hatteras Island Monday, and even parts of Ocracoke. The road remaining closed to traffic between Oregon Inlet and Rodanthe. NCDOT crews have been working to move the sand that is washed onto the road on Pea Island as conditions allow, but much of that work was being undone by surf that's topped 10 feet, reached up to 15 feet in some spots late Friday, and near record high tides. Forecasts indicate the near record tidal levels peaked on Monday morning with winds and seas slowly subsiding. DOT was hopeful they could get the road open to traffic again by this afternoon. Cape Hatteras Elementary, Cape Hatteras Secondary Schools closed today for staff and students due to the conditions Students encouraged to complete remote assignments. The coastal flood warnings and high surf advisories are still up. High surf advisory is going to continue until 4 o'clock. The coastal flood advisory until 1 o'clock until we get through this high tide that is on its way. High tide at Oregon Inlet for today is at 11:06 a.m. So from about 10 o'clock until about 1 o'clock looks like when our peak, maybe a little bit farther beyond that. That's when our peak of the high tide today is, and that's when we'll probably see a little bit more overwash because really there's nothing preventing it. With as you can see, again, this shot from Avon, from Rodanthe. Here's a shot from Avon, and you can see better shot there where you can actually see. And let me turn the lower third off here. You can see how far up it's coming up into the dunes there, and we still got about 3 hours before high tide. So down at roughly we're at mid tide right now there in Avon, and as you can tell, beach has been. There's been a lot of run up there into those dunes there just south of the Avon Pier. And that is expected to, again, we're probably going to get more of that today. Here's a live shot from Hatteras right now on those south-facing beaches, much calmer conditions. But again, as you got farther down south to Ocracoke, we actually had some overwash happen there. I'm going to pull up a story from, we've got, what have we got here? Let me make sure, because there are some photos. Yeah, most of the photos we've gotten from Hatteras Island have been through the islandfreepress.org. So let me throw some of that up on the screen for you here and give you an idea what things have looked like yesterday in case you've missed it, and what things looked like yesterday afternoon. There we go. There's our display. Okay, so there's a shot, Lori Douglas with that shot at Island Free Press of the water coming down Highway 12. There's the Merlot Beach sign, traffic camera that just doesn't want to work. It's down again. You can see the DOT bulldozer out there. This was at high tide yesterday, and it's just water just ripping down Highway 12. Water over into Avon. Now, this really happened yesterday. There was a little bit of water that got onto Highway 12 in Avon yesterday. On Sunday. Yesterday really was the day where we got the most of the surge, obviously, because of the higher tide. And that water coming through on Ocean View Drive, which is south of the Avon Pier, down in Kennekeet Shores neighborhood. The water coming down the streets, and now, of course, it's on Highway 12. This was yesterday about midday in Avon, so the salt water there. Here's another shot by Lori Douglas, really showing how much water standing at Merlot Beach. And same thing here. This is up on the dune. What's left of it, you can see how long the breach of the dune is. And off in the distance is that bridge that we're waiting on. Let's see here. We'll throw that up. There's a better view of it. You can see there's the Jug Handle Bridge. You can see here how big the dune breach is at Merlot, at S-turns. And of course, this time next year, we won't even be talking about S-turns anymore because it won't exist. As the work rolls on to get that Jug Handle Bridge complete. There's a few more from Lori Douglas. There's a house in Rodanthe. That looks like Corbina, but I don't think it is. Here's some shots from Rodanthe Pier. No, that's at Merlot as well. Okay. Yeah. So there's just a few of the shots that we got our friends Joy Christ and the rest of the gang at islandfreepress.org are sharing. I'll go back to our story at obxtoday.com because here's some great shots that Matthew Coates got yesterday morning from overhead with a drone. This is looking into Buxton. This is looking from just north of Lighthouse, not too far. Well, about halfway between. There's the motels right there, and then these are the houses in the neighborhood that runs down to the old Coast Guard base. And then to the old lighthouse site. So that shot coming from Matthew Coates, courtesy of islandfreepress.org. There's some of the shots that DOT and Division of Emergency Management, Dare County Emergency Management shared. Here is a picture I wanted to show you. This is at Ocracoke yesterday morning. And you can see there is some overwash. There definitely was, but it was more like underwater. It did come over the dunes and come through the dunes, but nothing really that bad because, again, facing south, things weren't nearly as bad down there as it was on the east-facing beaches. But as you get farther south, obviously the beach curves back eastward. So, you do get a north blow, you're going to get the overwash here. But it wasn't nearly as bad as it could have been, thankfully, at Ocracoke. The ferries are back up and running. Yesterday, NCDOT did put up a new schedule. They're using a modified schedule right now for the ferries across the system. For the Hatteras Ocracoke, they have not put out an update this morning what the ferry schedule is going to be like for this morning. So if we can get an update from them on that, we should have one very shortly. They may actually be running on full schedule. I'll tell you what, I'm going to do a little quick Twitter search. And that is one thing. If you are looking for information from the ferries on their schedules, it's a good idea to check NCDOT's ferry service. The ferry division has several Twitter accounts that they use for their different routes. So right now, don't have anything. Their last update was 15 hours ago, but they did resume regular service. The one ferry that's not running right now, that's the Currituck Knott's Island ferry. The water is just way too low. As I showed yesterday, how much the water's out here in the Currituck Sound. Some of that came back last night as the winds have shifted to the south and the winds laid down. We started to see the water flow back, just slow little eyes. It's nothing serious, but the water here has been very shallow over the last couple of days because of this northeast blow. Let's see. I'm trying to get the Hatteras ferry information on Twitter, as it's what am I doing wrong here? All right, we're gonna try to get that. We just kind of monitoring things here in the 8 o'clock hour as to what may be coming down. Oh, here we go. Let's do this because I'll just do a random search. There we go. Hatteras. Okay, so Hatteras ferries it looks like they are running a one-boat schedule at Hatteras. So the next departure is going to be 9 a.m. So they're going to run ferries every 3 hours right now from Hatteras to Ocracoke. And then, every 3 hours. They're just running one boat right now. And that's because, obviously, Highway 12 is closed, so you don't have nearly the amount of traffic. But you still have people trying to get between the two islands and folks that are on Hatteras who want to try to take the Pamlico Sound ferries to get back across to the mainland. Those are on, let's see here, we got that. They are back on schedule on the Cedar Island to Ocracoke, 7:30, 10:30, and 4 are the departures from Cedar Island to Ocracoke. Does not say what their other routes, but they say things are much better as far as the ferries running. You know what? We have had a couple of scattered power outages. Andrea noting the power trucks just went down West Kitty Hawk Road. Not sure. They may have just been coming from somewhere and going back over to the office there on the Woods Road, just cutting through that way if they went on Kitty Hawk. We did have power outage this morning down in Ocracoke, and we had a power outage in Killable Hills earlier this week. We had one here earlier this week, Sunday. We had quite a few power outages. Salt spray getting on the transformers and on the lines. That was some salt buildup. That's what they said at Tideland EMC that caused a power outage this morning in Ocracoke, and that was because of salt buildup. They quickly got that cleared off and were able to get things back up and running. Let's see here. Let me pull up my Dominion Energy map just to see if we do have any outages. But I don't think we haven't had any reports of any outages, at least to us. Let's see. Here we go. Let's see. Report outage. No, I want the map. Okay. Man, we're getting some text here about something happened over in Kerala yesterday. Let's see. Don't have one little minor. Yeah, one customer out. Headed east to I-158 at Caravan. Okay, well, they might have been doing some work. Okay, gotcha. They might have been coming from the office going out somewhere. Got one outage reported. Looks like right around, where is that? That is at First Flight Run. Beacon Drive. Yeah, First Flight Run that's in just south of Kitty Hawk Road. Just one outage there. Don't see anything else here on the beach as far as Dominion goes. And again, Tideland was the ones who said they had power outage this morning in Ocracoke. Folks down on Hatteras telling us never lost power on Hatteras Island. Cape Hatteras Electric Cooperative keeping things going. Thanks, Melody, for that. So there you go. All right, I'll take a break, catch my breath, and come back and try to explain. I've got a little bit more video I need to show, but try to explain what this whole sharks and the collards thing is. Someone just mentioned, I think Merman Dan mentioned that in the comments, that all these stories have led with that. I'll try to explain that in just a moment here on OBX Today. Stick around.
For over 15 years, Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated has been a beacon of light, guiding local families through difficult times. Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated proudly provides all families with compassionate choices for professional funeral care at reasonable prices. Get the answers you need 24 hours a day. No answering services, hidden costs, add-on fees, confusing fine print, or those scary-looking contracts. Remember, Gallup Funeral Services owns and operates the only crematory in Dare County, keeping our cremations affordable and convenient. Gallup Memorial Chapel in Bargo, North Carolina is now open and minutes from Moyock and Elizabeth City. From traditional church services and graveside burials to direct cremations and advanced planning, let Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated light the way for your family. Don't be pressured or confused by the other funeral homes. It's always your choice. Choose Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated. Call Courtney at 252-216-8030 to get a plan started today and visit our new website at gallupfuneralservices.com.
Our pet of the week for this week is Layla. This sweet and soulful lady is 10 years young. Layla loves to be held and also likes to talk. Layla is in the very early stages of renal failure, but we are working with our vet to ensure she is comfortable and thriving. At this time, we are looking for Layla to be placed in a foster or forever home. We would love her to be in a home very soon. She is perfect. To adopt Layla or foster one of our other animals, you can come visit us Monday through Saturday at our shelter located in Manteo. Look out for our next volunteer orientation that will take place Thursday, November 18th at 4 p.m. For more information, visit our website at www.obxspca.org or visit our OBX SPCA Facebook page.
All right, back here on OBX Today, on the OBX Today Facebook page and Sam Walker OBX YouTube channel. I've got some video here I wanted to throw at you before I get more explainer of what exactly does sharks and the collards mean. This is, again, from let me get this. There we go. What you're seeing here is, I'm going to roll this back. This shows just some of the wash going on with the dunes. This is just right at the Rodanthe Pier. You can see the walkway there, and how much the dune wash up of the dunes taking place during the storms, and shows how much sand was lost. That's Coastal Prof Ryan Mieres, who is a assistant professor at UNC Wilmington, who's been out on Hatteras Island during the storm, along with Mark Sudduth from HurricaneTrack.com, and they've got some great stuff. Ryan did note, and I had brought this up yesterday, he did mention that all this happened just 10 days after the Army Corps of Engineers had their equipment out on Pea Island to measure storms, and they missed this one. They had all this cameras and all this various stuff set up out there. But Ryan said that they actually had pulled that equipment about 10 days ago. It was just 10 days too late for them to get all the data. They would have had some great data. So, of course, they may have lost some of that equipment as high as the surf has been. So, anyway, if you go Coastal Prof, Coastal PROF on Twitter, Ryan's got some great stuff to follow there. All right, so what exactly does sharks in the collards mean? All right, so, and mullet blow. So a lot of stories around the area have been around the state have been leading with that. And it's just a term that comes from the down east section of North Carolina, Carteret County, Harkers Island, those areas. Now, while tropical cyclones grab most of the headlines here, coastal low-pressure systems occurring in the cool season can be just as impactful, bringing strong winds, coastal flooding, and heavy rains to the Outer Banks, Crystal Coast, and low-lying inland areas along the sounds, rivers, and creeks that make coastal North Carolina such a unique place. Locals often refer to these coastal storms as mullet blows, or use the term sharks are in the collards to describe the flooding this time of year. Well, obviously it makes sense. Collards are all up, and the water gets into them down there on that end of the sound. And, that's why they call it sharks in the collards. But it's a down east North Carolina term. So we're talking about the Carteret County, Harkers Island, all the way down there. The National Weather Service office in Moorhead City's put out a pretty good summary so far. We're going to pull it. We're going to actually get this up at obxtoday.com later on today as things wind down and once Highway 12 reopens. But I'll run through all that with tomorrow because all the data is still being coming in. But they do have the peak wind gusts, the coastal flow. We talked about the peak wind gust yesterday. 65 was the top wind gust at Jeanette's Pier. 64 at the weather flow sensor at Avon, as well as at Oregon Inlet. The highest tide was 6.87 feet at Duck. That was with the Sunday morning high tide. We got to just about 6.5 feet with yesterday's high tide at Duck. The other little interesting piece of data I wanted to pull before we move on from this was the wave heights. The peak wave heights offshore ended up being just under 16 feet at the Diamond Shoals buoy, the Onslow Bay buoy. The buoy off Oregon Inlet was at 17 feet. That was the highest, peaked at 17 feet Sunday night and into early yesterday morning. The Onslow Bay buoy, their actually peak was Friday night and Saturday morning. That was when the center of the system was still farther to our southeast. Same thing. Diamond Shoals, which is 20 miles offshore, peaked at 16 feet on Friday night as well. So that was the top wave heights. We're going to get all that up at obxtoday.com. Real good breakdown there because they would have more info coming in as the final measurements are recorded. All right, time for the tropical update. And guess what? There's nothing to update. It is quiet on the tropics map for the 2-day and the 5-day for the National Hurricane Center. This low that we've been dealing with yesterday at this time had a possibility of taking on tropical or subtropical characteristics. Not going to happen. It's going to merge with another low in the next couple of days and will not end up being anything tropical. Here's a satellite image of it. There you can, now I got to go to the different display. Let me go to the display capture here real quick. All right, here is the satellite image of this low. Still just to the north now, the center of circulation away, northwest of Bermuda. Yesterday it was about halfway between us and Bermuda. It's made its way almost to north of Bermuda now. It is going to start moving out to sea, merge with some of these other systems that are out there, and not become tropical. So the tropical weather update is absolutely nothing, kind of like the fishing reports are right now, as nobody's really getting out. So that's the latest on the tropics. All right. Some of the other news we've got for this morning. By the way, kind of ironic timing. Irony is ironic. The group composed of local, state, and federal representatives created to address issues with Highway 12 has had to cancel its next meeting, which was today because of conditions along the storm-battered highway. The North Carolina 12 Task Force Subcommittee was scheduled to meet this morning at the Dare County Administration Building in Manio. The task force formed back in May to move forward on a long-range plan to address Highway 12 south of Oregon Inlet. The subcommittee includes representatives from the Southern Environmental Law Center, North Carolina Department of Environmental Quality's Division of Coastal Management, North Carolina Wildlife Resources Commission, Army Corps of Engineers, NCDOT, National Park Service, as well as Dare County representatives and others. They are formed to work on trying to address all the issues that happen out on Highway 12 and try to come up with a better solutions. So ironic that happened. All right. There is a little bit of sad news coming out of this, but not sure if it's related or not to the storm, but a body washed up Monday morning on the north end of the South Core Banks. A 65-year-old man from Durham. This is in the Cape Lookout National Seashore in Carteret County. Officials said Miller had been staying at the Great Island Cabin Camp. Cause of death not determined, and Park Service and Carteret County Sheriff's Office are investigating. Now, obviously, we say body washing up. There's still that woman from West Virginia who has not turned up after her kayak overturned as her and two men were coming back from Portsmouth Island to Ocracoke. Still no sign of them, unfortunately. So sad news coming from down on Cape Lookout National Seashore, and we'll wait for more information on that case. The license plate office in Mania will be closed the rest of the week. That's according to a note posted on the window gate at the office inside Island Pharmacy that said they will reopen Monday the 15th. License plate agencies are independent contractors for the DMV and offer vehicle registration services and title transactions, as well as vehicle license plate renewals, replacement tags, and duplicate registrations. Now, services such as property tax payments and registration renewals can be completed online at myncdmv.gov. If you do need the in-person services, you're going to have to travel one of the other offices around the region. There is a license plate agency in Columbia, in Englehart, Elizabeth City, or Moyock. And the Elizabeth City office actually is closing at 4 o'clock the rest of the week. Normally they're open till 5, but they're going to have to, they said they announced yesterday they're closing at 4 p.m. Melody, and I'm going to go back to a couple of comments here. Melody, I think you would ask what the highest wind gust recorded during the storm was. We mentioned that a moment ago. 65 was the highest gust. That was at Jeanette's Pier, with several locations on Hatteras Island at 64. Dare County Board of Education is scheduled to meet this afternoon. They have a special meeting at 3:30, which is a closed session, and then 5 o'clock, the regular meeting at Mania Elementary School. They are among the items that will be discussed is the mask mandate. Under state law, they have to review that once a month, so that's coming up. They'll review the face coverings rules and regulations that are following in the Dare County schools. Today, we're seeing a couple of other school systems start to relax those. Hyde County is going to allow those who are vaccinated to not have to wear a mask anymore starting on November 15th, and other school systems are expected to follow suit with lowering the mask requirements. Some of that is related to vaccinations for children, 5 to 11 getting underway. The story about that, 8,000 kids in North Carolina since things started with vaccinations last week have already gotten their first doses in the first few days of eligibility. 72% of North Carolina adults have now had at least one dose of a COVID-19 vaccine. Interesting situation out, speaking of schools, in the central part of the state. Last week, Wake County bus drivers, school bus drivers, staged somewhat of a walkout or sick out for several days. Now in Cumberland County, which is Fayetteville, that's happening. Reportedly are considering a situation today over doing a protest over their current compensation. Wake County had a days-long protest last week with bus drivers. It left thousands of students in need of a ride to school. After a couple of days of the protest, the Wake County Board of Education approved a $1,250 one-time bonus for all employees, as well as a 1% raise for permanent staff members. In Cumberland County, All staff members received a $1,000 bonus at the beginning of November. However, bus drivers in that district make $12.21 an hour and currently are short 46 drivers for the 436 buses serving 17,000 students. So something to watch there out in the central part of the state. The state SB, North Carolina SBI and the Department of Public Instruction are teaming up on some plans to collaborate in training schools on threat assessments and response. This is following the, of course, obviously trying to keep schools safer. So they are teaming up on some training and also on adjusting how schools systems in North Carolina assess threats and how they respond to those with law enforcement and their school resource officers, etc. All right, we're going to take a break and come back with more here on OBX Today Live, so stick around.
For over 15 years, Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated has been a beacon of light, guiding local families through difficult times. Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated proudly provides all families with compassionate choices for professional funeral care at reasonable prices. Get the answers you need 24 hours a day. No answering services, hidden costs, add-on fees, confusing fine print, or those scary-looking contracts. Remember, Gallup Funeral Services owns and operates the only crematory in Dare County, keeping our cremations affordable and convenient. Gallup Memorial Chapel in Bargo, North Carolina is now open and minutes from Moyock and Elizabeth City. From traditional church services and graveside burials to direct cremations and advanced planning, let Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated light the way for your family. Don't be pressured or confused by the other funeral homes. It's always your choice. Choose Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated. Call Courtney at 252-216-8030 to get a plan started today and visit our new website at gallupfuneralservices.com.
We want to make sure that people have access to new and exciting authors, maybe expand their horizons a little bit, and just make sure that they're enjoying what they're reading. We have people who move here and they may have had access to a really large library system in a metropolitan area, but we can always win them over with our personalized service.
Hi. Hey, how are you? Good, how are you? Good.
Every now and then someone would come to the desk and say, gee, I'm kind of out of ideas. I've read all of the books by this author. Who else is there? And we ask a few questions about your reading interests, maybe some authors that you really liked, what you liked about their books, and then staff would commiserate and find books that we thought you would enjoy. And so one of our goals at the libraries right now is to take the services that we thought worked really well and figure out a way to integrate them into kind of our permanent services and programs. And so we're introducing on our website something that we call Your Next Great Read. We will ask some questions. What are some books that you really like, or some authors you really like, some genres you really like? We would just try to find out what they're interested in. It's not just fiction. You know, there's a whole world of nonfiction. Maybe you're interested in history or in sports or biography. There's really large and diverse collection of nonfiction materials too. If it's for a child, we will ask their reading interests, obviously, their grade, but also their reading level. For now, the recommendations are for physical items only. We would do it for books, books on CD, or DVDs. We certainly welcome feedback in all aspects of our service. For Your Next Great Read, we are hoping people will give us feedback and let us know. And, you know, we will learn from that and try to do better with future requests. We have 3 locations to serve you: Manteo, Hatteras, and Kill Devil Hills. To find all of our Reader's Advisory information, including the Your Next Great Read form, go to www.darenc.com/reading.
Back here on OBX Today Live on Facebook and YouTube, presented by Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated. We'll run back through the latest on the cleanup efforts going on down on Hatteras Island on Highway 12 in just a moment. For the second year in a row, Christine McMaster with OBX Dog Walker has run a photo contest on Facebook, and a panel of judges has chosen 13 photos featuring dogs enjoying the Outer Banks to feature in the OBX Dogs 2022 calendar. The only rules that apply as far as the photos are concerned is they must be only of dogs, no humans involved, and they must be outdoors and obviously taken on the Outer Banks. Last year, calendar sales raised $2,000 for the Outer Banks SPCA, and they're looking to raise even more money this year. The calendars are $15 and are being pre-sold until Monday, the 15th, for delivery the first week in December, just in time for the holidays. And the calendars can be shipped across the United States. To place an order, you can visit obxdogwalker.com to find out more. You can call 305-7911 to get more details. We've got a story up right now on the Things to Do page at obxtoday.com. Well, Christmas is coming and getting out the decorations, and Manio storefronts are starting to do that. Beginning yesterday, local organizations and businesses are invited to participate in the Making Storefronts Bright contest in Manio. Spread some Christmas cheer by decorating storefronts in the spirit of the holiday season by December 3rd, and you'll be entered into a random drawing for one of three $100 prizes. So those who have business storefronts in Manio could win $100. This year, one of the winners will go down in history like Rudolph for showcasing the brightest holiday spirit and take home a sweet trophy to display for all to see. It's all part of all the holiday activities going on in downtown Mania this year. We've got the Christmas activities calendar already posted at obxtoday.com on the Things to Do page, and you can find out more about this contest that's going on with the storefronts in Mania at obxtoday.com. In sports, high school soccer last night. First Flight beat Burlington Williams 2-1 to advance to the fourth round of the state playoffs. They will play host to Western Alamance on Thursday. In the 2A tournament, Manio needed overtime to beat James Keenan 6-4. Manio will have to travel down to top seed Clinton on Thursday. College basketball is back tonight. The highlight game of the night, first one of the season, is Duke and Kentucky at 9:30 at Madison Square Garden. Of course, Coach Mike Krzyzewski starting his final season as head coach of the Blue Devils. Meanwhile, just down the road, well, not down the road, but in Chapel Hill, Hubert Davis makes his debut as Carolina's new coach, as the Tar Heels play host to Loyola of Maryland at 7 o'clock. NC State will play host to Bucknell in a 7 o'clock tip. And East Carolina hosts South Carolina State at 7 o'clock tonight. So college basketball is back with fans, and can't be more excited about that. All right, so latest on situation with Highway 12. Crews are out right now assessing the situation. We do have one more high tide cycle to get through. High tide coming up at 11 o'clock this morning at Oregon Inlet. So between 9 and, well, about 10 and 1 is when we're expecting another possible period of overwash. It should not be anywhere near as severe as the last couple of days. You can see our live shot from Avon. Things look much better. Rodanthe, it's still pretty rough there, but it should be subsiding as we go through the day. We'll get through this high tide and then see how much sand they've got to pull off before NCDOT can get Highway 12 reopened. Should have more information about that here shortly, what their plans are. Haven't seen a post yet from DOT yet on Twitter as far as latest conditions. I usually try to get those up here in the next hour. And, of course, we'll share it at obxtoday.com. Ferries are running on a one-boat schedule between Hatteras and Ocracoke. That means there's only a ferry once every 3 hours right now. They are on the normal schedule on the Ocracoke mainland ferries as of this morning, as winds have died off dramatically. There's really no wind out there to speak of. All right, and, of course, the latest info at obxtoday.com on the left of the storm system. OBX Today Weather Center forecast today. Still a high surf advisory and a coastal flood advisory. High surf advisory until 4 p.m. Coastal flood advisory until 1. We'll see sunny skies today with a high right around 69. Northwest winds around 5 miles an hour. Tonight clear, low 52 with southwest winds of 5. On Wednesday sunny, high 69 with west winds around 10. Veterans Day is going to be sunny and high 71. So we're running about 10 degrees above normal in the temperatures. But then, or at least for the inland areas may get up into the mid-70s for the next couple of days. Friday, though, we got showers on the way, mainly in the morning hours through midday, partly sunny, high 70. In the afternoon, breezy. And then Saturday, sunny, 64. Sunday, sunny and 60. Monday, sunny and 62. Coastal Marine forecast, still a small craft advisory for the open waters. We'll see 6 to 9 feet, 1 to 2 foot waves in the sounds, but that's really going to drop off maybe about 1 foot or less now, as the winds have died out dramatically. Water temperatures right around 60. They have dropped quite a bit over the last couple of days with cooler temperatures over the last week, and of course all the ocean being stirred up, sounds being stirred up as well. Next tide change in Oregon Inlet, high tide 11:06 a.m. So we could get another period of overwash. Definitely going to have some, but it won't be nearly as severe as the last couple of days. Sunset tonight 4:59, and sunrise tomorrow at 6:33. Right now outside our studios in Uptown Nags Head, it is 54 degrees. And that's going to do it for today's edition of OBX Today Live here on the OBX Today Facebook page and the Sam Walker OBX YouTube channel, presented by Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated. We'll be back with you tomorrow. Latest updates on the Highway 12 situation, we'll have them all day long at obxtoday.com and on Beach 104, Big 94.5 WCMS, 99.1 The Sound, and Z92.3. Have yourself a great Tuesday, everybody. We'll see you.